with the Texas Esports State Championship, and now for the moment that you've been waiting for. I'm Bordy McBoard, that's Captain Atsoka, and we are back to finally see some Marvel Rivals action. Our very first esports action of this tournament.
Yes, and it has been a long time coming. We have had a great morning so far. We got to see some great pool play. Now we're getting ready to see some plays happening in Pool 2 for Marvel Rivals. We finally have our teams on stage. I cannot wait to get into this first series. Of course, it's going to be a best of 3, so there is going to be multiple opportunities to make mistakes, make corrections, and then come back correct again. We're going to have the Clear Lake Falcons versus the Valley Mills Esports team.
Absolutely. Our first time, I believe, seeing either of these two teams play, so don't know what to expect, but I do want to see what these compositions will be. Obviously, we talked about it prior to the break, right? There are several different metas that you can go to. My interest to see is, are we going to go traditional? Are we going to see 2-2-2 tank,
No.
DPS, and support? Or if we're going to see a little bit of playing around with either the support or the DPS. But either way, we are ready to jump straight into the action. Again, Clear Lake High School against Valley Mills High School.
I would be honestly surprised if we saw a 2-2-2 composition. I haven't seen a 2-2-2 composition since literally the beta. That was the last time. Maybe a little bit in Season 0. Maybe a little bit in Season 0. I'd be highly surprised. For the longest standing in Marvel Rivals, it has been that more or less the 3 support composition. That's where you have your 3 healers. Usually you're going to be able to have in some pseudo healers. Again, we talked a little bit about Ultron. We talked about Gambit. I've been seeing a good bit of Gambit gameplay. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see maybe the double support comp with Gambit and also a 3 DPS stack. 3 DPS composition is literally just the default online ranked game composition. The 3 DPS comp, that's just, you might as well just call it ranked.
You know what? And I would love to see some Gambit. I am a Gambit main. I do love the fact that you have some versatility when you play with him, right? You can go crazy and you can go for the headshots, you can go for the kills, or you can take back and really heal your team, right? Obviously, though, if you don't go with a 3 support option, that's where you really rely on seeing a lot of these supports. I'm seeing probably a Silver Fox or maybe a Jeff if you decide to go too far there. You want somebody like Rocket Raccoon too, somebody that can heal in bunches and to make sure to support a lot of this damage output that we would see if we're only going with 2 supports here. But you can play around with it, man. That's what I love about Rivals. You can play a lot with the comps, and you don't always have to go with the 2-2-2 like you would in another hero shooter in Overwatch.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I said, I haven't seen many of the 2-2-2. But with that being said, you know, I really would like to see some Adam Warlock gameplay just because I love the res factor.
Yeah.
I love being able to resurrect your teammates. That's why I love Rocket Raccoon. I love having the BRB. The BRB, that beacon, has to be one of the most versatile utilities available in Marvel Rivals. That's why I love Rocket Raccoon so much. Adam Warlock, again, being able to have that res ability, especially with the recent changes being made to where, you know, his ultimate ability doesn't take as much in order to activate. It can be used a lot, not a lot, it can be used a little faster, let's just say that. Not to mention ultimate headshot capability. Adam Warlock being able to either, you know, simultaneously or even burst shot to the head, clear damage. It reminds me a lot of, again, another Overwatch
Anna?
character. No, not Ana. Ana, again, that's a debuff support.
Yeah.
That is an entirely different type of support. I'm talking about Zenyatta. Zenyatta's headshot capabilities in Overwatch are absolutely insane, and it reminds me a lot of the headshot capabilities that we see in Adam Warlock.
Yeah. You know, something else that I'd love to see is if we see a little bit of that Black Cat action. If we see Scarlet Witch, right? Usually these are players that you can utilize maybe like do the flank game, you know what I mean? Obviously, in this versatile world that is Marvel Rivals, you have a lot of different player comps, but then you also have a lot of different methods of attack, right? And I really want to see if we utilize the fact that there are cubby holes, there are sight lines that you can take advantage of here. Maybe you can go with Punisher. Go ahead, get into those pockets and really start to do damage in those pocket shots and get a lot of damage, and that sets up very well for the tank to finish off the job. Maybe you have a dive tank like a Rogue. Maybe you have someone like Venom that can go in and then seal and finish off plays. These are different things that you can play around with here. You see a lot of those flank moves. Obviously, when you have a state championship, there are people who know the map, so maybe they may not fall victim to it, but in an intense battle, an intense fight, it's easy to forget that you need to watch your 6 and your sides because you never know if you might get flanked.